IVM.
Some people think that Geek Fruits is a show about technology, but it's not. It's actually about us nerds. But if you are a tech head, that's a term I just invented for you, then you should definitely check out Shunya One, hosted by entrepreneur Shiladitya. It's a roundtable discussion about all the tech things you can find in India. Every week, check out the biggest headlines to dissect and discuss from tech, business, and the business of tech. That's Shunya One, every week on the IVM podcast app and anywhere you like to listen to podcasts.
Well, this is a story all about how we talk about news and not news now. Welcome to the Geek Fruit Bulletin. My name is Dinkar. With me is Tejas. What do you think of that intro, Tejas?
I don't know whether I like that you're preemptively thinking about how you're going to start this.
I preemptively thought of it 30 seconds ago. I think that's fine. You
Yeah.
can just wait for the words to come out of my mouth.
Okay.
Can you hear the words coming out of my mouth?
Okay, okay.
From Russia 2.
Yeah, from Russia 1 actually, but okay.
Was it from Russia 1?
Yeah.
When does he say, can you hear the words coming out of my mouth?
When he picks him up from his private jet when he comes from Hong Kong. And
all
he's
right,
pretending
yeah,
not to
of course,
understand
of
English.
course.
Boom!
I feel like
Russia knowledge.
Was it not called back in Russia 2?
He says it to him.
Was there a Russia 3?
Yes, Brett Ratner directed it. That's why we ignore it.
Oh, right. What happens in Russia 3?
They're older and they're in Paris.
Of course. Now, the reason I started this episode by rapping, I'll use that term, the theme to the Fresh Prince of
Loosely.
Bel-Air, loosely, is, did you see this dramatic recreation of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air called Bel-Air? So basically,
Gritty reboot.
Essentially, a fan and a filmmaker of some sort did one of those pitch trailer kind of things where he basically shot a version of the story of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Like a Barry Jenkins type drama.
Kind of. And, I mean, as a story, it's got some dark stuff, right? Because essentially Will is sent to Bel-Air because he gets into some pretty bad times.
He's a juvenile, he's not delinquent, but he's like a...
He was almost an offender or something,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Anyway, so this was basically a gritty reboot of the thing. He put it up, did really well, hit a couple million views immediately. And then Will Smith, who has his own YouTube channel, saw it, really liked it, so went out and interviewed the guy.
Oh!
And said, like, man, I love this, you've got a bright future, you're doing some great stuff.
Man, Will Smith's hashtag content is pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it. I love his editing. The editing on that channel is really good.
Well, yeah, it's being done professionally.
Yeah, he's got a team. But
He's
I'm
got
just
a team.
saying it's
even
a good...
shot really well now.
But I've
the
watched
first
a
couple
lot
of
of
ones
it.
they were
It's really
doing
good.
on like a lot of run and gunny rigs, but now this interview that I was watching shot really nicely.
So he's doing the Smiths are doing some interesting things. So Jada Pinkett Smith is doing this Red Table Talk with Facebook Watch. Have you seen that?
No.
It's also pretty hardcore, man. So I was watching this
it looks
episode
pretty
about their own marriage and how it's like, and I was just like, whoa, it gets pretty dark and it gets pretty serious. It doesn't get dark, but they address it like
And
really maturely.
They've always been weirdly honest about their marriage. Not weirdly, but in a very nice way.
but
They're
very
always
mature
very open.
kind of way of addressing it. It was really cool, man. I mean, yeah. It's
The Smiths are an interesting family.
great family, man. I really like, they're an icon living. What do I say?
Yeah. Now, the one thing I will say about Will Smith's channel is he did one edition of it where he was in India to promote what? I can't remember. Was it Bright? Couldn't have been Bright, right?
I only saw the episode when he comes to do it part of his show, Will Smith's Bucket List, where he comes
I
to
haven't
do
seen that. This is a much older one. It might be like one
He's
of the
come
first.
to India on multiple occasions.
On multiple occasions. So this was an episode called What Arnold Schwarzenegger Told Me That I Won't Forget. So at least half that episode is set in Bombay. So he's staying at the Taj and he does a bunch of content around the Taj. And
It's not the one where... the same one where Ranveer comes in. Ugh.
No, this isn't that one. This is just him hanging out in the hotel, and then after that they shift to Japan, I want to say, somewhere else. Anyway, so he's having an Indian meal, and he talks about how he loves Indian food, particularly naan. And then, he spends like about...
He loves his naan.
He loves this. So he spends 30 seconds just tripping on the word where he goes like, man, I'll love me some naan. Naan. Naan.
Nice.
As the words pop up on screen.
Nice,
So
nice.
So I have shown multiple people that clip, and mostly now when people ask me something and go like, should we do this? And I go like, nah.
And then you go have North Indian food instead.
Then I go have North Indian food
Oh,
instead.
good.
Anyway, so yeah, that's what
he's solid.
Big Willie style is up to.
I like Will Smith.
He's cool, man.
He's an entertainer. Like, you have to take his YouTube channel like you take The Rock's, like with a grain of salt.
So there's a lot more.
It's very
Okay, if we're
produced.
discussing celebrities on YouTube, I feel like what The Rock does and what Will Smith does are on the produced end of things, as opposed to
Yes.
something like a Jablinski Games.
Yeah.
Which is literally, I mean, it's the dude shooting whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all good. It's interesting. I like it.
Conan's, I mean, I guess for me, Conan is winning the web.
But his
I mean,
it's produced in the strictest sense of it.
Yeah.
Maybe
I just feel
his
like it's an
podcast
evolution.
is a lot more loose, but even his podcast, again, I think this is because
No,
of
I'm
how
talking about
cool-
like his remote stuff, right? Like,
Yeah.
not even Without Borders. Just his remote stuff has always been like, the internet's content is basically an evolution of like remote pieces.
essentially.
Yeah, that just basically used to happen, and that's what I still love. Like, I mean, like the moment he did that lift video with Kevin Hart and Ice Cube.
Yeah.
I think that kind of, basically molded his entire YouTube channel. Or, I mean, like, I suppose that did. Like, that was his
But
best
he's
video.
been doing remotes for the longest time.
Yeah,
In
exactly.
fact,
He just released that Conan 25.
Conan 25
So
has
good.
all the remotes going
So
like
funny.
way back, literally in
Yeah.
the past 25 years.
Yeah.
Almost every remote that he's done.
Yeah.
And the thing with those is, I think the difference between, say, what a Conan does is a lot of it is spontaneous and off the cuff, but
Yeah.
also it's very thought through in a sense. Like, especially if you listen to him on Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend or Inside Conan, which is
Yeah,
the behind the scenes
awesome.
podcast
So
that
good.
two writers from the Conan show do. They talk about how essentially to do like a 10-minute remote, they shoot
At least, yeah.
more than a
double,
shoot day,
yeah,
which is
yeah,
like
yeah.
8 hours. They do like 12 to 14 hours, and then they get like the cream of the crop of everything he's
Yeah,
done. And they're
yeah.
like, he's always funny.
Yeah.
But what you get is
Is
the
the
funniest
best.
of the
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
As opposed to a Jablinski Games where I don't even think funny is the goal. It's funny partly because you're like, what's this guy doing?
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
Yeah, it's like a hang with Jack Black, and that's who Jack Black is. With Will Smith, he's clearly trying to be a storyteller of sorts. So he's going like...
And he's good at it. Because
And he's great at it, yeah.
All Will Smith has to do is go like, so the thing is, and then I'm going to listen like for the next 3
Yeah.
hours. So yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to hear Will Smith go like, well, this is what I believe in life, and go like, nah. You're not. You're going to listen.
Yeah.
By the way, since we're speaking,
we?
yeah, how did we get onto this? But while we're on Conan,
Yeah.
Veer Das was on the show
So, yeah,
recently.
I saw it.
And he was on Inside Conan, and they were
I've not heard the inside episode yet, but
it's pretty good. He talks about
He's not
his
on
career as a
O'Brien Needs
stand-up.
a Friend?
He's not on O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Oh.
I think that episode was Tig Notaro this week.
Man, I love Tig.
She's the best
She's
dude.
amazing.
She's
so
great.
good. But I did not hear the Inside Conan episode, but I did see him on the show.
So there's been multiple talks.
clips.
Basically, Inside Conan is essentially like behind the scenes stuff, right?
Yeah,
so
it's
they've
cool.
been discussing for the past couple of weeks. They're deciding their next big trip
Yeah.
because they do like 3 a year.
Yeah.
So they keep bringing up India
Yeah.
because it's always apparently been on the list.
Yeah.
But apparently a lot of the staff has visa issues with coming to India.
A lot of the staff, as in the US citizens, have a visa issue?
The Conan staff in particular, because apparently the last time they came to India, which was for a remote called Andy Blitz Gets Tech Support,
Okay, yeah.
which is where a writer and some of the staff from Conan came to India. And the gimmick essentially was that one of the writers, Andy Blitz, at the time, had an issue with his computer. So he
Yeah.
calls up tech support, and tech support's a guy in India.
Correct. Okay, so he...
in the Microsoft office in
Nice.
Hyderabad. So he just like keeps arguing with him until he lands up in India.
his office.
And they actually flew to India to do the remote.
So I always felt like it would be a lot easier now since, just as purely because Netflix is involved as, the producer of the show, and they have a huge office, and now a big part of their content thing is in India. So
But Netflix doesn't produce the show. I think they
it's
license
Conaco,
the
yeah,
content.
yeah, but I'm saying that it's still like under their like freaking business visa. I mean, I find it a much easier process
apparently
now.
what
it
they've
would
said
be,
is
right?
when they came to India the last time, they didn't do something right, so now they're having issues. So it might not happen. But anyway, we know that it's on the list, and
yeah.
apparently it keeps coming up. So like Veerdas offered some suggestions on where they should go
Okay.
when they come here.
Oh God.
I mean, he talked about the standard stuff, and I think
He
if
talked about
Conan-
what?
he talked about the typical stuff. He was like, you got to go meet a Punjabi family and have dinner at their house. You've got to go to the Taj Mahal.
Well, sure, I suppose.
You've got to check out,
India's made
he
up.
said you've got to check out Bombay's nightlife. What? What nightlife?
So I guess Conan is coming for our gigs now.
I think he means the fact that Noble Medicals is open 24/7.
Yeah,
that's my version of Bombay's nightlife. You can get a Magnum there at like 3 in the morning.
That is true. It's
And I'm talking about the ice cream.
Regardless,
Yeah.
Both important things potentially at 3 in the morning. It's
You
fine.
can have ice cream at 3 in the
You
morning.
must have ice cream at 3 in the
We're
morning.
adults. You can have ice cream for breakfast now. Who's going to stop me?
I love that.
Hold on, I'm getting a call from my mom.
I love that we're adults was followed by we can have 3 a.m. ice cream. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
Cool.
one, man. Good
All
one.
right, moving on to more news. Did you see the Men in Black International trailer?
I did.
The new one.
Can I say something? I feel like everything is meaningless after Endgame.
Yeah, true.
And I'm not by saying that Endgame is a freaking amazing movie or it's the greatest movie of all time or it sucks. It's just that the phenomena is so big of it and the execution of that film alone is so large in scale that as we were exiting the theater, I saw the little display for X-Men Dark Phoenix, and I was just like, they should just release a statement saying we're not going to release this film. Like it's like a lot of stuff, at least since in the wake of watching this movie, has felt like little meaningless to try. It's like one of those things.
I feel like
Do
if
you know
they're
what
going to try and do something like what Dark Phoenix seems to be doing, that probably won't work.
No,
because you're trying to.
And I'm not talking about little. No, they should try an indie like approach. Small scale, more private. Insular stories. No, just shut the genre down now. It's done. It's done.
Well, they're coming out with the movie in 2 months.
It's done. I think. I mean,
The
like
genre is done.
in terms of like, yeah, of course we can always watch like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love those films.
Spider-Man is coming out in 2 months, dude.
Yeah, I know. I'm done.
I think it's also because we just watched it, so it feels like a monumental thing has happened.
Yeah.
I think the goal is that don't try and top this. Don't try and do like the same thing again. Let's try something else.
What I'm saying is that you're gonna need another 10-15 years to do this again. I'm not saying they can't. If they can pull this off, and I know, but the characters are principal characters. If Cap and Iron Man and the original 6 are not going to be leading these next few films, like. Will it be the same? It'll be the same, dude. Like, Black Panther made $1 billion in the box office. Like, people will enjoy it all the same. For us, maybe we're a little more attached to these characters, but for the people who aren't really involved, reading the comics and know who's more popular. As far as the world is concerned, Black Panther is the leader of all the Marvel comics,
Which he might well be.
He might well be, right? Similarly, like when Iron Man came out, Robert Downey Jr. single-handedly made Iron Man like an A-lister, in the comics. Even though he's like a big part of the comics, like he was never as popular as say Spidey or Cap or not even Cap, but like just like Spidey or Wolverine. Now they have all these guys, man. They have Wolverine, they have the Fantastic Four, they have everybody,
True.
man. So they can do it. Just take another 15 years, aram se.
I don't think they're going to try and hit that mark again very
I
quickly.
100% think they will do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They'll go for it again?
100%. They're not going to squander an opportunity to do it with the X-Men or the Fantastic Four or...
Yeah, but I think they'll take their time about it.
Oh, yeah. Like another 10-15 years, man.
Probably.
Yeah. And they should. It's fine.
Kind of like how Men in Black took 10-15 years.
And
how long has it been since the first one?
So now that you mentioned Men in Black again, and I totally forgot the first time, but I saw the trailer. I am okay. Do we need it? I'm going to ask this question to every movie now. Do you need to be here? Do you need to be a thing? Yeah.
It's weird that they got Thor and Valkyrie doing the heavy lifting.
That's precisely why, I suppose. Like the chemistry.
This movie
but they must
was
have
in
cast
production for a while, I assume.
Yeah.
Probably before Ragnarok came out. I've heard it's taken a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought the trailer was fine. Whatever.
Not even
Kumail's like a weird looking alien.
Yeah.
Does he look like which is that frog that goes like that?
Crazy Frog.
Yeah. Axel F?
That's the name of the track.
The one that goes like ping ping.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that dude. Doesn't Kumail's character look like that?
Sure.
Anyway, unimportant.
Unimportant.
Why I brought up this trailer is not really because of the trailer itself, but this weird thing happened where they released the trailer on at least, I think either the main channel of the studio or one of those like Joe Blow movie trailers type channels, where they uploaded the entire thing with only dialogue. So the music, the sound,
unmixes.
Yeah, I think basically like some dude hit solo on the dialogue track in whatever editing software they were exporting it from, put it out, and that's how it went up on YouTube. So, and that video was still up when I watched it. Might have been a mirror, but it's so surreal to hear a trailer without everything around it. It's just the weirdest thing.
It's like a shredded video.
It is quite literally a shredded video. So like something happens, then you hear Liam Neeson's voice, and typically trailers do a lot of like little cuts where
Is there no music or is there SFX at least?
There's nothing. There's only dialogue. They only left the dialogue track on.
Oh, I wish they left the SFX and no music. That would have been
weirder.
weird.
Yeah, any trailer without music is just going to sound the weirdest. Even if you hear only the dialogue, it's clear that Liam Neeson's lines in the entire thing, they've taken like bits and pieces, because in a trailer
together,
you have to remove all the gaps and you're trying to get information across, so you take like lines from 3 different things and then stitch them together. So he says something like, "This is a moment for us to shine," or something like that. It sounds like a robot is talking when Liam Neeson talks in this
That's weird.
Men in Black International Shreds trailer.
Oh, man.
Why is it international?
Because they're in London.
Oh, not because he's Australian.
I'm sure he's British in the film because she comes to the British agency or something.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Has Tessa Thompson been in much stuff?
She was in Annihilation, I think. This was the last time I saw
Correct.
her. Yeah. She's not been in
Annihilation?
anything else since then.
Why is she such a familiar face?
Because she looks like our friend Neha Matthews.
What? No, she doesn't.
Yeah, she looks exactly like her.
No.
Yep.
Maybe. I don't know. Alright, cool.
For those of you who don't know, Neha Matthews was was a guest on our episode on Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Now she runs a podcast empire.
This is true.
So, yeah. Okay, maybe I can kind of see it. Cool. We dove quite hard from news into not news. From news about the Men in Black trailer to discussions of sound effects into, does a friend of ours look like another person?
A thread.
A thread. Alright, this is again the beak fruit? What?
I feel like...
Beak fruit is what a pigeon does.
Beak
fruit.
We're going harder, like into the
not news realm of things.
Yeah.
Of course. This has been the Geek Fruit Bulletin.
Hi, I'm Ronnie Screwella, first-generation entrepreneur and co-founder at Upgrad. My podcast, Dreaming with Your Eyes Open, is a companion podcast to my best-selling book, Dream with Your Eyes Open. On this podcast, I talked to Amit Doshi, founder of IVM Podcast, about my entrepreneurial journey. I walk you through my successes and failures, mostly my failures, and the lessons that I learned from my experiences, family, and colleagues. What was my first entrepreneurial venture? Why I chose Japanese cartoons over animation cartoons on Hangama? Why did I sell my stake at UTV to Disney? Find out all this and more on the Ronnie Screwella podcast, Dreaming with Your Eyes Open. New episodes out every Tuesday on the IVM Podcasts app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
India's a massive subcontinent home to truly stunning diversity. Behind the veils of smoke that obscure our thriving cities, our history is still alive, glimmering like sequins, waiting to be discovered. And if you, like me, are straining to hear the echoes of our past, this podcast is for you. I'm Anirudh Kanisetti, a history and geopolitics researcher, and I host Echoes of India, a history podcast about India, by Indians, and for Indians. In Echoes, we journey through the complex histories of South Asia and what they can teach us about our globalized world. Tune in every Wednesday on ivmpodcast.com or your favorite podcast app.